Thank you. Thank you to the chair and your co-sponsorship of this bill, as well as many of the rest of you who have, and my 12 other co-sponsors of the bill in the Senate. Thank you very much for your support and recognizing that this is about trusting women. Obviously, you're going to hear a lot of testimony tonight, and Lynette Labinger, who's behind me, is obviously the legal expert on any word you want to discuss with her in the bill, and so I'm going to leave that to her. And instead, I just want to make some brief remarks. As you might have been following along in Ireland last week, there was a historic vote on Friday to repeal the Eighth Amendment, which was put in place in the early 1980s and made abortion illegal in that country. That did not stop abortion from happening in Ireland. It just caused families and women hardship, costing them thousands of dollars to travel to the UK in order to get an abortion. And in some cases, it meant women died. That has obviously had a significant impact among the Irish people, and certainly in the most Catholic country in the world to the most Catholic state in the United States. I think it sends a strong message that more than 2/3 of the people of Ireland voted to repeal that amendment, recognizing that the most important thing they could do is show compassion and care, trust women, and show that their health care was important and their own personal decision. The bill before you, all it does is take what is allowable under the current federal case law and would put it into state law. That's all it does. It doesn't go further. And Lynette can certainly go through all of that language with you. I make that point, though, because certainly over the past couple of years, I have heard from some of my colleagues and other people that they don't think that women should worry. Well, we are worried. Under this Trump administration, we have seen significant rollbacks and attempts to attack reproductive rights, both here in this state, as well as states across the country. We have seen a federal administration that is loaded with people who do not believe that women should have control over their own bodies. And we have a president who has completely shown his lack of faith and respect for women. And so it's really no surprise that this has ended up in women feeling incredibly concerned that their own rights are being restricted, will be restricted in Rhode Island. I say that because that fear is important and it is well-grounded, and it is an opportunity for us as a state to say that we stand with women and that we recognize and value that concern and will continue to advocate for women in our state no matter what happens in this country. And finally, I want to just pull, as it so happens, my husband was in Ireland this weekend. And so he brought me back the Irish newspaper, as well as this T-shirt from the campaign, which was called Together for Yes, for a yes vote. And I want to show you two things. One is, this is the map of the yes vote in Ireland. As you'll see, every county in Ireland voted to support women's reproductive rights and to repeal the Eighth Amendment, including Donegal, which, even though it's red, is just right above the threshold for a majority vote. So I think that's a really telling story, because so much of what happened in Ireland was this idea that there's a difference between the rural and the urban, that we were seeing a difference in the way people vote, that, Dublin wasn't reflective of the rest of the country, but as it turns out, it really is. And so I want to leave you with these comments by Una Mullally, who wrote in an op-ed in the Irish Times on Monday. This about the campaign. We were told this was a divisive campaign. It was a unifying campaign. We were told this was a difficult issue for people, yet for many it was straightforward. We were told it was the third rail of Irish politics, so instead the people led, from the activists and the protesters to the canvassers and ordinary women and men who rolled up their sleeves, to the women who shared their stories. The eclectic makeup of the campaign brought in doctors, mothers, lawyers, students, trade unionists, the LGBT community, feminists, and everywhere in between. Ireland has not just changed its constitution or its society, it has changed the world with this vote. It has changed the world because in many countries and U.S. states, women's reproductive rights are under attack. Ireland has stood up for women on a global stage. Thank you.